My name is Evelyn, and I will be 28 years old this year. I am a hard worker, and at the age of 28, I have become a section manager. I am what you might call a career woman. My life's purpose was to work, and I have not been in a relationship ever since I started working. I was so worried about my situation that a friend of mine introduced me to my current husband, James. James and I got married less than a year after we started dating. I never really wanted to get married, but James had always wanted to get married by the time he turned 30. James was not the type to interfere with my affairs much, and we both valued our own time, so I didn't feel bad about being with him. And he said I could continue working after we were married, so I agreed to the marriage. We have been married for a year, and as they say, I am free to do my job, and we get along fine without interfering too deeply with each other. James works for the government, and his work hours are well set. He rarely works overtime or on holidays, and he takes the initiative to do the housework. He was a really good husband to me. One day, James suddenly told me not to expect his bonus this year. Originally, we were splitting our income as a married couple, so I didn't know how much James' salary might be. So I wasn't expecting it in the first place, but I was kind of curious. Did something happen? Did you do something that would make them take away your bonus? I asked him. Then, James said,
Because of the recession this year, all of our bonuses are going to be cut. I don't know how much it will be cut, but it's not that much to begin with. I guess it wouldn't have made much of a difference.
I myself only worked for a general company, so I don't know much about bonuses for government employees. So I said, I see, it must be hard, and then ended the conversation there. Then a few weeks later, James said to me,
I'm sorry, this month we'll have to make do with this,
and gave me an envelope. We split our rent, utilities, and food expenses 50-50 each month. Therefore, both of us would pay out the same amount, and whatever was left over that month would go into our joint savings account. Today was payday, and I thought I had been given a living allowance, so I looked at the envelope I had received from James and saw that it was $500 less than usual. I thought this was weird and asked him, What do you mean, make do? I know you weren't getting your bonus, but was your salary cut too? Then James said,
2 of my coworkers are getting married this month. They invited me to their wedding, so I couldn't skip out on their wedding gift. I'm sorry, but this is all I have this month. Please forgive me.
And apologized to me. I had to agree that if it was a coworker's wedding, there was nothing I could do. When we had our wedding last year, many of James' colleagues had come. Considering that, I couldn't tell him not to go to the wedding. Fortunately, I have more income than the average office worker, so I figured I could make it just for this month. Okay, but just this month. I'll make it work. When I said that, James replied,
Thank you,
and kept on thanking me. I was probably naive to think that we should help each other at least this much as a married couple. From then on, every month James continues to give me less money. On the contrary, he would say,
It should be fine. You make more money than I do, and we're a couple, so just let it go. I do all the housework and stuff, don't I?
Sure, he does his housework as well as before, but I was getting more and more irritated with James, who took advantage of me as if it was a matter of course. 6 months have passed since then. I got my winter bonus again this year. This year's bonus was much larger than last year's because of my higher performance. I looked at my paycheck and decided to buy myself a reward for all the hard work I had put in. I usually don't spend much money on myself, but I wanted to pamper myself at least at a time like this. I had always wanted to buy a watch, a high-brand one, but even the cheapest one cost more than $10,000. I thought it was too early for me, but I decided to use it as a means to keep working hard next year, so I took the plunge and bought it. It was my first big purchase for myself, and I felt like it was a waste to put it on even though it was mine. That day, I ended up just looking at the watch and didn't feel like wearing it. The next day, I was about to go to work when I suddenly received a call from James.
Hey, was your bonus that good?
He asked me. I thought it was out of the blue, but I was also distrustful of James, who was not giving me proper living expenses for whatever reason. What's wrong? Why are you asking me that? I asked him calmly. James replied,
Didn't you do some shopping yesterday? I saw a paper bag.
He must have been watching me. Yeah, I bought myself a reward for a year of hard work. When I replied, James said,
That's great that you can just do that with your bonus. It's tough for me to just make ends meet. Well, you got a bonus, so you should buy me a reward for a year of hard work too.
He said something that didn't make sense. I got upset and told him, What are you talking about? Why should I buy you something when you don't even give me a decent living expense? I raised my voice. James said to me,
I don't have a choice. I'm having a hard time. We're a couple, so there's no need to get into details like that. It's not like anything bad will happen to you if you help me out.
He didn't even apologize to me. This conversation was going nowhere. I told him, I'm going to be late for work, so I'm going to end this conversation now. Once I said this, I went to work. I was so angry by what he said, but that was no excuse to be late for work. I thought to myself, I'll talk to him again when I get home. But when I got home, James wasn't there. Work should have been over a long time ago, right? Is he out for a drink? I haven't heard from him. Where are you right now? Out drinking? I sent him a text, but there was no reply from him. I had to wait for him to reply, thinking that he might be angry with me, given what happened in the morning. I sighed, thinking things over. I know I should look at my watch to cheer myself up. Rewards are for times like these. I didn't want to stay in a depressed mood, so I decided to change my mind. I opened the desk drawer where I had put the watch, and my mind went blank. I was sure I had put the watch in that drawer, but it was not there. I thought for a moment that I was robbed, but my other valuables I had put in the drawer with the watch were still there. A thief would have taken the other items as well. If so, there could only be one culprit. I called James in a panic. At first, he didn't even pick up, but after about 10 calls, he answered in a tedious manner.
Why do you keep calling? What the hell? I'm having a drink with a friend. I'm having a drink with my own money as a reward for a year of hard work, so don't bother me, he said with a laugh. I was at the end of my patience. Sorry to bother you. I was going to call the police. Can you come home right away? I asked calmly. I thought if I had asked him where my watch was, he would try to cover it up, so I hid my true intentions from him. James's attitude from earlier completely changed. What do you mean, the police? Did something happen? He replied worriedly. Then I said, And my watch disappeared, the watch I bought as a reward for myself, worth over $50,000. I think we were robbed and it got stolen. That's why I'm calling the police. Then James said, Don't lie to me. I looked it up. That watch is only worth $15,000. The hell do you mean, $50,000? Just as I thought. I figured if I lied to him, he would take the bait. Why did you look up the price of my watch? I mean, how do you know I have a watch? I told you I bought myself a reward, but I never said I bought a watch. Did I? When I said that, James must have realized he was getting caught, so he didn't say anything and fell silent. Then I said, There are things that people should and shouldn't do, even if they're married. You're a thief for taking my watch without permission. Give it back, I said to him, and he sighed loudly. You don't deserve that good stuff. Where would a regular office worker put it? I gave it to Jane. She said that customers would be more interested if she wore something nice in her store. It's a present for your cute sister-in-law. Isn't that nice? He began to say. I was so mad that I hung up the phone without saying anything. I immediately contacted my sister-in-law. Jane, my sister-in-law, works at a nightclub. I texted her and she replied that she was at work right now, but would be done in an hour. I just replied that I needed to talk to her, and we made an appointment to meet at the time when my sister-in-law gets off work. An hour later, we meet up, and my sister-in-law began talking to me as if nothing happened.
"Hi, Evelyn, it's been a while," she called out to me. I felt uncomfortable with her attitude. "Give me back my watch. The watch that James gave you was one I bought for myself. Give it back, please." My sister-in-law had a look on her face showing that she did not know what I was talking about. "Hey, wait a minute. I didn't get a watch for my brother. When did this happen? I mean, I never got a watch in the first place." Hearing my sister-in-law's troubled words, I was speechless. "What? You never got one?" After thinking for a while, my sister-in-law finally said, "Yep, I didn't get one. Evelyn, I don't know what you're talking about, so can you explain it to me?" She looked at me concerned. I was stunned, but explained to my sister-in-law what had happened that day. Then my sister-in-law opened her phone and started to look something up while listening to me. Then, "Your watch is one of those high-brand ones, right? The one that costs about $15,000? She asked me. I didn't tell my sister-in-law how much the watch cost. "Yes, how did you know the price?" I asked in a panic, and my sister-in-law replied, "About 6 months ago, my brother came to our store with his coworkers. I was at that table, but there were a few other people there too. One of them, Ava, liked my brother very much. My brother explained to her that he was married, but she didn't seem to mind. Then she started coming to my store a lot." "Huh?" "I repeatedly warned him that Evelyn was there, but he told me what was wrong with him coming here with his own money. Even though I didn't blame him for coming to the store, I did warn him because his behavior with Ava was suspicious. Look at this." She apologetically explained, and then showed me her phone. The phone showed what looked like a blog, and on it was an arm that looked like a woman wearing the exact same watch I had bought. "This is the same watch that I bought." When I said that, Jane replied, "I knew it," and let out a big sigh. "This is sort of a diary that the girls at the store write, and this is from Ava. It says she bought it as a treat for herself, and it was posted today. I thought it was weird that she could afford something so expensive. That girl makes a fuss every month about not having enough money. When I saw the diary, I wondered if my brother bought it for him, but then I thought, I don't think he has that much money either. But finally, I solved the mystery. He stole something that you bought, gave it to Ava, and told you he gave it to me." After hearing my sister-in-law's explanation, I could no longer contain my anger. I immediately thought about calling James and asking him about it, but my sister-in-law told me, "Wait, I think I know where my brother is. He's probably with Ava, so let's go in and get the watch back." So I decided to go with my sister-in-law to get it back. My sister-in-law told me that Ava said she was going to her favorite restaurant after work. Evelyn knew Ava's favorite restaurant, so we hurried there. When I arrived at the restaurant, I saw James behind the counter. Next to him was a young girl who looked like Ava. The two were enjoying their meal, laughing happily. I said to my sister-in-law, "I'm going alone for now, so wait for me." Then I walked over to the two. From behind, I said, "You guys seem to be having fun. I didn't know your coworker was a woman." When I spoke to him, James noticed me and gave me an awkward look. Ignoring him, I said deliberately, "You're a cute coworker, aren't you? How old are you? Are you a new hire?" And spoke to Ava. Ava was drunk or something, and she responded, "I'm not a coworker. I mean, who are you, lady?" She answered truthfully. To Ava, I said, "That's a nice watch you have. It's amazing that you wear such an expensive watch for someone so young." Ava replied, "He gave it to me as a gift. He told me that a nice girl like me should wear a proper watch." She clung onto James's arm. This proves everything. I told James, who had turned pale and gone silent, "Please divorce me. I'll charge you for the watch, along with the alimony." Jane told me what happened. "Since you were cheating on me, of course you'll have to pay alimony." And then I walked away. James said, "Wait a minute." I remember he was saying something inarticulate. "You're an asshole, James. You stole someone's stuff and then lied about giving it to me. I'm telling Mom and Dad." Once he heard that, James sank down onto the floor. Less than a month later, our divorce was finalized. James said, "I didn't cheat on you. I never had physical relations with her." He kept saying this, but I don't care anymore. I couldn't forgive him for taking my things without my permission, or for lying to me. Of course, I couldn't forgive him for cheating on me, but there was no way I could continue our marriage as long as he was not sincere. I explained everything that had happened to my parents-in-law and my parents, and they had heard about it from my sister-in-law as well.
I'm sorry,
they apologized on James' behalf. They also paid for the watch and the alimony on his behalf, telling me they would make sure he would take full responsibility for his actions. My in-laws also made James fill out the divorce papers. With the help of my in-laws and sister-in-law, everything went smoothly. Since the divorce, I've been working harder and harder. I am happy working just for myself, and it's not hard for me at all. I heard that James was forced to quit the government office where he worked, partly because he was having issues with his attitude, but he was told that word of his divorce had spread at some point and that they couldn't let someone who was a thief work there. I guess that's normal for a government employee. He is now working part-time, day and night, to make ends meet while borrowing money. I feel a little sorry for him that he lost everything. I think he deserved it.